We also have the situation in Darfur, the Sudan. You will recall that this case was referred to the ICC by the United Nations Security Council under Resolution 1593. And so far, we have also in stages, we have 3 Darfur cases, Darfur 1, Darfur 2, and Darfur 3. Darfur 1, we had indicted Ahmed Haroun and Ali Kushib. Haroun is a former minister, currently also a minister, and Ali Kushib is a military Janjaweed leader. We've also indicted President Omar al-Bashir, the sitting head of state of the Sudan. And in this in the 3rd Darfur case, we are alleging that 3 commanders of the rebel movement were responsible for committing crimes against African Union peacekeepers in Haskanita. This happened on the 29th of September in 2007. The pre-trial chamber, following our application, have issued a warrant against Mr. Baha Idris Abu Garba for crimes allegedly committed in that attack. He was as one of the commanders. And the chamber has found that there are reasonable grounds to believe that he committed crimes within the jurisdiction of the court, and specifically 3 counts of war crimes of murder, attacking personnel or objects involved in an humanitarian assistance or peacekeeping mission, and pillaging. I think, apart from Sierra Leone Special Court, this would be also the 2nd time that persons are charged with this crime. Baha Idris Abu Garba voluntarily appeared in the court on the 18th of May 2009, this year, in response to the summons. And this is the first time that this has happened. And he's scheduled to appear again on the 12th of October for the confirmation proceedings to start against him. The prosecutor has said that voluntary appearance is always an option under the statute, including, of course, for President Omar al-Bashir, if he should elect to cooperate with the court. But this initial appearance of Abu Garba is also an occasion, I think, to pay tribute to the peacekeepers targeted in Haskanita. The prosecutor has said that by killing peacekeepers, the perpetrators attacked the millions of civilians who those soldiers came to protect. They came from various countries, including Senegal, from Mali, from Nigeria, from Botswana, from the Gambia. They came to serve and to protect the civilians in Darfur. But they were murdered. And we have to note that attacking peacekeepers is a very serious offense, which we shall prosecute. Now, regarding the case of Omar al-Bashir, the president of Sudan, the obligation rests on Sudan to arrest Bashir, to execute the warrant that is outstanding against him. And if Sudan does not enforce this warrant, the United Nations Security Council, which referred the case to the ICC, will need to ensure that there is compliance. What the prosecutor can do, or should do, and has done, is to report that there is non-compliance by the Sudanese government. And he did that on the 5th of June this year in his biannual report to the UN Security Council. We continue to be in constant contact with the African Union panel that has been set up, the high-level panel, which is headed by the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki. We recognize the importance of this panel, but we also recognize that the mandate of the ICC has to be executed as well. On the 4th of March 2009, the chamber, if I may just recall the Bashir case, the chamber issued a warrant of arrest against Mr. Omar Hassan Ahmed al-Bashir, the president of the Sudan, in relation to the situation in Darfur. The chamber determined that there were reasonable grounds to believe that he had committed crimes within the jurisdiction of the court, and namely the 5 counts of crimes against humanity, of murder, of extermination, forcible transfer, torture, and of rape, and 2 crimes of war crimes, attacking civilians and pillaging. The Chamber has also found that there was not sufficient evidence to charge for genocide, which we had applied for. And for those charges that were confirmed, the Chamber determined that Mr. al-Bashir, that his status as head of state and not a party to the Rome Statute did not affect the court's exercise of its jurisdiction. We have appealed against the decision of the court for not charging for or issuing a warrant of arrest for the charges of genocide, and we are confident that we will be able to get the genocide charges back. We have other situations that are outside of the African continent, including Colombia and Georgia, Cote d'Ivoire, and Afghanistan. On the 22nd of January of this year, the Palestinian National Authority lodged a declaration accepting the jurisdiction of the ICC in accordance with Article 12 of the Rome Statute. And between 28th of December of last year and this year, we have received about 358 Article 15 communication relating to the situation of Israel and Palestinian territories. And we have begun to look at these issues, all the issues that relates to our jurisdiction, including whether the declaration that has been made by Palestine accepting the exercise of the jurisdiction of the ICC meets the statutory requirements, whether the crimes that are within the jurisdiction of the court has been committed in that territory, and whether there are any proceedings, any other proceedings that are taking place with regards to those crimes. As you know, the jurisdiction of the ICC is complementary, and when the states who have primary jurisdiction to investigate and prosecute are doing that, the ICC will not intervene. So all of these are being looked at. We recently received a report from the President of the Secretary General of the Arab League, Mr. Amr Musa, giving us information about the conflict between Palestine and Israel. With regard to Cote d'Ivoire, we had made a recent visit. They are taking national steps to investigate and prosecute, and we need to monitor that, as well as in Colombia. Colombia is working very closely with the ICC prosecutor, and they are ensuring that the crimes that are committed there are also being investigated and prosecuted. And currently we are collecting information on Afghanistan, which is also a state party, and which we know that crimes that may fall within the jurisdiction of the ICC are taking place. Thank you.